To keep your button maker in tip-top shape, you'll want to perform some periodic maintenance. Fortunately, it's very easy to accomplish. So I want to take you through the steps that we recommend here at American Button Machines to both tighten up the machine and also to properly lubricate it. We're going to start off by tightening the bolts. First off, we want to make sure that the handle is in the down position. And then we only want to tighten the bolts at the outside. You'll see 2 or more additional bolts on top. We only want to tighten the outer bolts which connect to the bottom of the machine. This calls for 2 tools. We'll need a 3/16 Allen wrench as well as a 7/16 socket wrench. So I'll start off by inserting my Allen wrench into the bolt, the outer bolt, the first of 2 outer bolts on top of the machine. I can then tip the machine downward so that I can get to the underside for that additional bolt and now just tighten. You don't need to use too much force, just make sure that those bolts are snug. You can then repeat the process for the other bolt. So I'll insert the Allen key on the other bolt and once again using the socket wrench on the bottom and using a bit of force, just a little bit of force to tighten up those bolts. You don't need to tighten them too much. We just want to make sure that they're nice and snug. You'll also find that below the dies on the base plate underneath there are also bolts that you can tighten just to make sure that those stay snug as well. And that's all you need to do in terms of tightening. So let's take a look at the lubrication. We'll start at the top of the machine and work our way down. There are 2 types of lubricant that we're going to use for this. The first is a multi-purpose lithium grease and the other is a 3-in-1 oil. We'll start off with the oil. On top of the machine, you'll notice that as we adjust the machine up and down, there are these bolts that move. The center bolts, I'm going to add just 1 drop of that 3-in-1 oil to each of those bolts. And then there are roller pins that connect on both sides of the machine here. And on the inside of the plate up at the top, again, applying just 1 drop of that 3-in-1 oil and to that lower roller pin as well. And I'll do the exact same thing on the opposite side here where the washer is on the inside and then the lower roller pin as well. With those items lubricated, now we can move on to the base plate. Go ahead and move the handle into the up position and rotate the base plate and you'll see that we have a little bit of grease down on the bottom. I'll apply just a little bit more grease on both sides of the base plate here and then I will move that base plate back and forth. I want to get a nice thin but even coating so that the base plate rotates very smoothly. And then of course as I'm making my buttons, we're going to see that the elements are moving up and down. There's a bar here that moves along those outer pins and I'll want to apply just a little bit of that grease on both sides there and once again move that handle back and forth to help spread that grease, making sure that everything is moving nice and smoothly. So keep in mind, you don't need to use too much oil or lubricant on the button maker. You just want to make sure that everything moves very smoothly so that you'll get great buttons every time.